I first saw her in the faculty lounge, sipping black coffee from a chipped Shakespeare mug like it was the only thing keeping her from snapping at the universe. She sat at the far end of the table, perfectly still, her posture too straight for someone who'd survived 4 back-to-back periods with hormonal teenagers. Her blouse was crisp, her hair tied in a low bun so tight it looked like a challenge, and her gaze, God, that gaze, sharp enough to cut through stone. I had no idea who she was, only that she was new, and that when I entered the room laughing about a ridiculous question from a freshman, she looked at me like I was noise. Unwelcome, unnecessary, irrelevant. That was Miss Blake. Janet whispered to me later, the drama teacher who always wore velvet and secrets. History. Transferred from a private school. Supposed to be brilliant. And terrifying. Sounds like my kind of woman, I said without thinking. Janet blinked, then smirked. I'll light a candle for your soul. I wasn't looking for anyone. I hadn't dated in months. Not since the last woman I fell for left me for a hedge fund manager and a Boston brownstone. But there was something about Miss Blake, the cool disdain in her eyes, the precision in her speech, the way she seemed so in control it bordered on suffocating, that made my stomach twist. And I hated how curious I was. We didn't speak for a week. We shared the same hallway but taught in different wings. I saw her pass by my classroom sometimes, always at the same time, always with the same clipped stride and unreadable expression. My students gossiped. She's scary, they said. She never smiles. Her handwriting is like a serial killer's. She assigned a 20-page paper on week 2. But even they couldn't stop talking about how beautiful she was. Like a vampire, one girl said, but hot. If you enjoyed this content and want to support the channel in a special way, try clicking the thanks button below. It's the one with the heart and $sign icon. With super thanks, you can make a direct contribution to the channel, which helps me keep creating awesome videos for you. It was a Thursday afternoon when we finally collided. Literally. I was carrying a stack of art supplies down the hall. Why our budget meetings always ended with me personally transporting paintbrushes, I'll never understand. And she turned the corner, head down, reading a file. We crashed hard. Everything spilled. Papers, brushes, half a container of glitter that somehow exploded midair. Shit, I muttered, dropping to my knees. I'm so sorry. I wasn't watching where, clearly, she said, kneeling to help me. Her voice was smooth. Cold. No apology. Just judgment. I glanced up. Her face was inches from mine. And I realized 3 things at once. 1. She had a small scar above her lip, barely visible. 2. Her eyes weren't just sharp, they were tired. Sad. Like they hadn't slept in years. And 3. I wanted to kiss her. Desperately. I'm Harper, I blurted. Miss Lane. Art and design. Yes, I know, she said, offering a single paintbrush with 2 fingers. I've seen your murals. Oh. You like them? I didn't say that. I blinked. Right. We stood. Her folder was glittered now. She didn't seem amused. You're Miss Blake, I said, stalling. History. Is there a quiz? No. You're new. Welcome. Her mouth twitched like it wanted to smile, but didn't remember how. Thank you. She walked away. Just like that. No goodbye. No glance back. I should have left it there. Should have taken the hint. But I couldn't stop thinking about her. That scar. That look. That voice. The way my name sounded when she said it. Ms. Lane. Like it was both a dismissal and a dare. Over the next few days, we crossed paths more and more. At meetings. In the parking lot. In the copy room, where I caught her silently correcting someone else's worksheet grammar. Control freak, I teased. Perfectionist, she corrected. Dangerous combination. She didn't deny it. And yet, sometimes I saw her watching me. Not openly. Never obviously. But in the way her eyes lingered when she thought I wasn't looking. In the way her voice softened, slightly, when she said my name. It all built slowly, quietly, until the storm finally came. Parent-teacher night. I'd been there since 5, plastering the halls with student work, arranging chairs, drinking my third coffee. I wore a red blazer I didn't usually bother with, and lipstick I hadn't touched in months. When she walked in, wearing black slacks and a white button-up that made her look like an untouchable goddess, I forgot how to breathe. We barely spoke. We didn't have to. The tension was a live wire between us, electric and sharp and impossible to ignore. She stood across from me during the opening remarks, her arms folded, her gaze locked on mine across the room. And I stared back like we were the only 2 people who mattered. After the last parent left, I stayed behind to clean. She did too. Alone. We were the only ones left in the wing. I don't know who moved first. I only know that I found myself in the supply closet with her, breathless and burning, the door shut behind us, the silence deafening. "What are we doing?" I whispered. "Something we shouldn't," she replied. Her hand brushed mine.
Barely.
My skin lit up. "You don't even like me." "No," she said. "I don't." Her mouth hovered near mine. "But I can't stop thinking about you." And then she kissed me. Hard. Urgent. Like she was starving. I responded instantly, pressing her back against the wall, our mouths crashing, our bodies already forgetting where we were. Her hands gripped my hips like they'd been waiting for this for years. My fingers tangled in her hair, pulling her closer, needing more. And when we finally broke apart, gasping, flushed, ruined, she looked at me with something wild in her eyes. "This is a mistake," she whispered. "Probably. It can't happen again." "Okay." "Harper, yes? Don't stop." I didn't. We didn't talk about it. Not the kiss. Not the hands. Not the breathless moan she muffled against my throat when my fingers slipped beneath her blouse. Not the way she clutched my waist like she was afraid I might disappear the second our mouths parted. Not the moment she whispered my name like a question she already knew the answer to. We walked out of that supply closet 20 minutes later, hair tousled, cheeks flushed, shirts only half tucked back into place, and not a single word passed between us.
She didn't look at me.
I didn't look at her, but I could still feel her lips on mine like heat pressed into skin. I couldn't stop replaying it. Every second. Every breath. I couldn't stop the ache that bloomed in my chest when I thought about the way she said "don't stop," like it wasn't just about the kiss, it was about everything. But the next morning, in the faculty lounge, she didn't so much as glance in my direction. She sat in her usual chair, reading a folder, her face carved from ice. I walked in, pulse racing, already burning with anticipation of something. Anything. A smile. A flicker of acknowledgement. But she didn't lift her head, and I hated how much that hurt. Janet arched a brow at me from the coffee machine. Someone looks like they got laid, and then ghosted. I choked on my tea. "Excuse me? You've got that look," she said, stirring sugar into her mug. The post-regret glow. "Don't worry, it suits you." "I'm fine," I said, too quickly. "Totally. Absolutely fine." Aha. I fled.
The school day dragged.
Every time I saw her in the hall, I expected something. A glance. A nod. Some kind of signal that what happened wasn't just a strange, heat-drenched dream. Nothing. And worse, when I passed her classroom during lunch, the door was ajar and she was smiling at a student. Not a tight, professional curve of the lips. A real smile.
Warm.
Gentle. I had to grip the door frame to keep from swaying. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, reliving the kiss, hating myself for how much I wanted it again. For how much I wanted her. The version of her who unbuttoned my shirt without hesitation. The version of her who said my name like it was a secret. But maybe that woman only existed in that closet. Maybe Miss Blake, history teacher extraordinaire, had locked her away again the second the door opened. 2 days passed. Then 3. I avoided the lounge.
She avoided the art wing.
Our paths didn't cross. But the tension didn't leave. I could feel her everywhere. Her presence like a second pulse in the building, ghosting behind me. Friday morning, I stayed late in my classroom, cleaning brushes, trying to ignore the twist in my stomach. When I finally stepped into the parking lot, The sun had dipped and the sky had turned indigo. She stood by my car, leaning against the hood, her arms crossed, her eyes unreadable. I stopped in my tracks. "Did you lose something?" I asked. "My mind, possibly," she said. I stepped closer, heart in my throat. "You've been avoiding me. You've been avoiding me. I didn't think you wanted to talk." "I didn't," she said, "until I realized I couldn't stop thinking about you." Her voice cracked just enough to undo me. "You kissed me," I said quietly. "You touched me like you'd been dying to." I was. Then why pretend like it never happened? Because I'm terrified of what it means. I stepped closer. "What does it mean?" She looked at me, and for the first time, her expression was completely unguarded. "It means I want you. Not just your body. Not just that night. I want your chaos, your laugh, the way you doodle in the margins of your own lesson plans. I want you. And I've never wanted anyone like that in my life." "Then take me," I said, "because I'm right here." She reached for me. I fell into her. We kissed again, slower this time. Not frantic, not desperate, but deep.
Certain.
Her hands curled around my face like she was memorizing it. My fingers slid into her hair, loosening the bun, letting the strands fall. She made a soft sound, half gasp, half groan, and it vibrated through my spine. When we pulled apart, she leaned her forehead against mine. "We can't do this at school anymore." Agreed. "But I want more." "Then ask." "Harper," she whispered, "come home with me." I nodded. We barely made it through the door of her apartment before we were tearing at each other. Clothes hit the floor in a trail. Lips found skin. Skin found fire. She pressed me against the wall, her hands sliding down my back, gripping me like a lifeline. I moaned into her mouth. She cursed into mine. We stumbled to the bedroom, collapsing into sheets that smelled like her perfume and something deeper, something real. She kissed every inch of me like it mattered, like she was rediscovering a language she hadn't spoken in years. I touched her with reverence, with hunger, with everything I hadn't known I'd been holding back. When we came together, it wasn't explosive. It was quiet, intimate, devastating in its tenderness. We lay tangled after, breathing in silence, our bodies wrapped like the answer to a question neither of us had been brave enough to ask. "This is going to get complicated," she said. "It already is." "Are you scared?" "Terrified." "Good," she said. "Me too." And still, she didn't let go. Not that night, not in the morning, and not when I kissed her again, right before the sun rose, and we both remembered we were still teachers, still colleagues, still pretending not to be in love with the one person we shouldn't touch. I walked out of her apartment with my heart half exposed and my body aching for more. I didn't know what would happen next, but I knew one thing. I wasn't going to stop. We tried to stay away from each other for exactly 36 hours. 36 torturous, slow-burning hours where we kept to opposite ends of the school, pretended not to glance across the courtyard during lunch, pretended not to hear each other's voices echoing faintly down the hallway. I couldn't focus, couldn't breathe without feeling her. Every time I blinked, I saw her hands gripping the sheets, her eyes dark and wild beneath me, her mouth whispering my name like a prayer and a sin at once. I was losing it, and I wasn't the only one. Miss Blake, Audrey, I now knew, but still couldn't bring myself to say out loud during daylight hours, looked composed, of course.
She always did.
But I noticed the small tremble in her fingers when she poured coffee in the lounge. The way her knuckles whitened around her clipboard. The way her gaze flicked to me, and then away like looking too long might unravel her control. It would have been easy to give in again. Too easy. But we'd made a decision. No touching. No kissing. No goddamn closets. We both knew the risk. We weren't just colleagues. We were two women leading classrooms full of impressionable teenagers. We were professionals, responsible adults, models of conduct, and we were failing miserably. Monday morning, during our staff development meeting, she sat 3 seats away from me, close enough that I could smell her perfume, vanilla and cedarwood. It curled around me like a leash. She didn't look at me once, but when the principal passed around a clipboard and our fingers accidentally brushed, her breath hitched. Barely audible, but I felt it. The heat of her skin, the tension in the twitch of her wrist. I closed my eyes and reminded myself that I was supposed to have boundaries. I'd never hated boundaries more in my life. You two are weird, Janet whispered beside me. I snapped my head toward her.
What?
You and Miss Blake. She raised a brow. Something's off. Like you're in the same room, but pretending not to notice each other. Which, by the way, makes it very noticeable. You're imagining things. Harper, I've seen you flirt with vending machines. You haven't smiled at her in days. Something happened. I said nothing. Janet narrowed her eyes. Holy shit. Something did happen. Janet, is it scandalous? It's nothing. So definitely scandalous. I bit my lip. Drop it. Never. She grinned, triumphant. After the meeting, I fled to my classroom, heart hammering. I closed the door, dropped into my desk chair, and tried to breathe. But then someone knocked. I knew it was her before I looked. I could feel her through the door. I didn't move. The knob turned slowly, and then she stepped inside, shutting it behind her. Her eyes found mine. She looked wrecked, controlled.
But wrecked.
We can't keep doing this, she said. Agreed. And yet, I know. She crossed the room slowly, like each step cost her something. I can't sleep, she said. I keep thinking about your hands, your mouth, your laugh. You told me we needed distance. I was right. Then why are you here? Because I'm tired of pretending I don't want to pin you against this desk. My breath caught. Audrey. She winced. Don't say my name like that. It makes everything worse. Worse. Hotter. Harder. Real. She reached me. I stood. Our bodies only a breath apart. Do you regret it? I asked.
No, she said.
Not even for a second. Then what are we doing? We're surviving. I closed the distance. Her mouth met mine with quiet desperation, a kiss that said I'm sorry, and I need you, and please don't stop all at once. My fingers found her waist. Her nails dug into my shoulder. We pulled apart seconds later, breathing hard. Someone could have seen you come in, I said. I don't care. You do care. Only about you. Don't say things like that.
Why?
Because I'll believe them. She cupped my cheek. You're the first thing I've wanted for me in a very long time. The door opened. We jumped apart. It was a student. Mississippi Lane, do you have the extra paint? Oh, sorry. It's okay, I said, voice shaking. Miss Blake was just dropping something off. Right. Audrey smiled tightly and slipped out. I sat down, heart pounding. That night, she didn't text. I waited, watched the hours stretch thin. Still nothing. The next day, the rumors started. I heard them in whispers, caught them like broken glass on passing winds. Did you hear about Mississippi Lane and Miss Blake? They're always in the same hallway now. I saw them talking in the darkroom. My sister's in her class. She said she wears red lipstick now. I bet they're hooking up. The words cut.
Sharp.
Reckless. Teenagers were predators with Wi-Fi. And I knew if the wrong person heard those words, really heard them, we were done. I found her by the lockers after final bell. Her jaw was tight. She'd heard them too. This was bound to happen, she said. Kids talk. We've been careful. Not careful enough. Do you want to stop?
No, she said.
Do you? Not even a little. She exhaled. Then we need rules. Like what? No touching at school. No late-night messages. No supply closets. And no falling in love. Her eyes darkened. Don't say that. Why not? Because if you do, I'll say it back. And we'll never survive it.
I didn't say it, but I wanted to. God, I wanted to.
That night, she showed up at my apartment without warning. Soaking wet from the rain. Eyes wild.
Hair down.
Screw the rules, she said. I can't breathe without you. I dragged her inside. We didn't make it to the bedroom. She kissed me against the door, hands already under my clothes, mouth bruising mine with need. We collapsed to the floor, skin on skin, body against body. She took me apart. I unraveled her. When we were done, we stayed curled together, breathless and raw, her head on my chest. "We're going to get caught," she whispered. "Probably. We could lose everything." "I know. Would it be worth it?" I kissed her forehead. "You already are." We thought we were careful. We really did. We staggered our arrival times, used separate hallways, avoided eye contact in meetings. We spoke only when absolutely necessary and never alone, never in empty rooms. We deleted every text after reading it. We didn't dare call. And still, it wasn't enough. The gossip hadn't gone away. It had shifted. Gone quieter. Sharper. It had shape now. Focus. Which meant someone wasn't just speculating anymore. They were watching. It was Wednesday morning when I found the envelope on my desk. No name. Just my name written in block letters on the front. Inside, a photo. A grainy, zoomed-in image of Audrey's hand on my lower back as we walked out of a coffee shop last weekend. Not in school. Not on school grounds. But unmistakable. Intimate. Dangerous. My stomach twisted. I looked up, scanning the hallway through the narrow classroom window. Everything looked normal. Students laughing. Lockers slamming. Someone chewing gum too loudly. But the air around me felt heavier. I didn't know who sent it. I only knew what it meant. Someone had proof. And they wanted me to know. I called her that afternoon, breaking the no communication rule. "Don't say anything," I said the second she picked up. "Just listen. Someone knows. They took a picture of us. They left it for me." Silence. Then, "Where are you?" "My room. Last period's planning." "I'm coming." "Audrey, I'm coming, Harper." She arrived 5 minutes later, her face pale and drawn, a storm beneath the surface. I shut the door the second she stepped in.
She didn't waste time.
"Let me see it." I handed her the envelope. She stared at the photo, her jaw tightening. They're not bluffing. They want something. Or they want us gone. What do? "We wait," she said.
We don't react.
"Whoever this is, they're testing us. Seeing how we respond. We give them nothing. And if they go public, then we handle it."
How?
Her eyes met mine.
Together.
I sat on the edge of my desk, nerves on fire. I thought we were careful. We were. Just not enough. She came to stand between my knees, her hands gently curling around my waist. "I won't let them ruin this." "This," I echoed. "Whatever it is," she whispered. "Whatever it's becoming. I'm not letting it go. It's not just you anymore. They could go after both of us. Our jobs, our students. Then they'll learn what it means to come for a woman with something to fight for." Her voice was steel. I kissed her. Because I could not. Because fear made everything sharper. Her lips were warm and certain, her hands sliding up my spine, grounding me. We pulled back before it went too far, but the air between us buzzed.
"Tonight," she said.
"Your place." "Audrey, I need to be near you."
"Just for a little while."
"Please." "Okay." She kissed my cheek, then left. That night, she came in through the back door. She wore no makeup, a hoodie pulled over her head, like she was hiding from the world. But when she stepped inside and saw me, something in her face softened. "I thought I could stay away," she said, "but I feel like I'm losing my mind." I pulled her in. We didn't talk. We didn't need to. The way her hands gripped my hips said enough. The way I pressed her to the wall, my lips finding the curve of her neck, told the rest. We undressed each other slowly this time, reverently, like we were trying to memorize what it felt like to be safe for one night. The sex was different, less desperate, more raw, every touch deeper, every kiss longer. We didn't just make each other come. We held each other through it. Afterwards, we lay tangled on the couch, the TV murmuring some forgotten show in the background. Her fingers traced circles on my stomach. Mine curled into her hair. "If we lose this job," I whispered, What will we do? We'll start over. Together? Always. Do you mean that? God help me, yes. Then say it. She looked up, her eyes glassy. I love you. My breath caught. Say it again. I love you, Harper. I love you too. She kissed me like it was the first time, and I let her. For hours. The next morning, I woke up alone. She'd left before sunrise, leaving only a note on the pillow. Couldn't risk it. See you at school. But when I got there, everything had changed. There was an email waiting in my inbox. A mandatory meeting. Principal's office. No explanation.
Just a time.
Audrey passed me in the hall before I left for it. She didn't stop, didn't smile, but her fingers brushed mine in the narrow space between us. A whisper of contact. A promise. I walked into the office with my heart in my throat. The principal looked tired. Serious. There was a second person in the room. A woman I didn't recognize. Harper Lane, the principal said. This is District Supervisor Evelyn Moore. Please sit down. I did. Slowly. We've received an anonymous report, he continued, about an inappropriate relationship between two members of staff. My pulse pounded. I see. I'm sure you understand how serious this is. Of course. We'll be conducting a full review. Evelyn Moore opened a folder. We're not accusing anyone. Not yet. But we will be interviewing everyone. Reviewing camera footage. Checking communication records. Do I need legal counsel? I asked. Not unless there's something to hide, she said. I said nothing. My silence said everything. When I left the office, the hallway was empty. But I knew Audrey would feel it. Somehow. I knew she'd be watching. Waiting. Hoping. I wasn't going to run. I wasn't going to lie. And if this was the price for love, real love, then so be it. Because I'd finally found someone who saw me, touched me, chose me. And I'd burn the whole damn place down before I let them take her away from me. The interrogation was worse than I imagined. Not because they asked the wrong questions, but because they asked the right ones, simple, careful, calculated. Had I ever been alone with Miss Blake? Had I had contact with her outside of school hours? Were there any personal or physical boundaries that might have been crossed during work-related situations? It was like they'd trained to make guilt feel like gravity. Every answer I gave was a tightrope, every silence a noose. We're just doing our job, Evelyn Moore said, her pen tapping lightly against her notebook. But if there's anything you feel you need to disclose, voluntarily, now is the time. There's nothing inappropriate, I said, keeping my voice even. Audrey Blake is a colleague. We've had hallway conversations. We've both stayed late. That's the job. Have you ever met socially outside school? We ran into each other once. A coffee shop. Nothing else. Nothing worth reporting, I said, staring directly into her eyes. She scribbled something. The principal didn't look at me. That was worse. The meeting ended with a warning. Nothing official yet, but the air around the school had changed. I felt it in the way people looked at me just a little too long, in the way conversations stopped when I walked by. Someone was watching. Someone had started this, and they weren't finished. I texted Audrey one word. Now. She showed up in my room 10 minutes later, closing the door with soft fingers and a hard look in her eyes. They got to you too? I asked. She nodded, pulled me in before second period. And same questions, same tone. Like they already know. Maybe they do. You didn't tell them, right? Of course not. Harper, I swear. I didn't give them anything. She exhaled. They're going to dig. They'll check cameras, emails, every conversation we've had, every hallway we've crossed. Then we hold. We stick to the story. You think they'll believe us? Doesn't matter. We believe us. Her jaw tensed. I reached for her hand. I'm not walking away from this. Or from you. She leaned her forehead against mine. We should have run the second it started to feel like more. You don't mean that. No. I don't. We stayed that way for too long. Not kissing, not touching beyond our joined hands, but still tangled in something deeper than we'd planned. Then came the email. Effective immediately, Ms. Harper Lane is placed on administrative leave, pending investigation.
Just like that.
No warning. No meeting. Just a line in black and white. I sat at my desk, staring at the screen. Numb. I taught at that school for 6 years. Built programs, coached art competitions, mentored kids who didn't have anyone else. And now I was disposable. I called Audrey. "I'm out," I said. "I know. They didn't suspend you?" "Not yet. They're dividing us. It won't work. I don't want you to get dragged into this." "I already am." "Audrey, don't ask me to back away," she said, voice tight. "Because I won't. And if they take you down, they'll have to take me too." I swallowed hard. "What are we going to do?" "We're going to stay quiet. Let it play out. And if it gets worse, we go public." "You mean tell the truth?" "I mean tell them exactly who we are. And let them decide if love is really a fireable offense." I hung up before I could cry. That night, she came over again. No words, just arms. She wrapped herself around me the second the door closed, and I broke. I sobbed into her shoulder, grief and fear and rage crashing all at once. She held me through all of it,
Kissed my hair.
whispers like bandages. "I've got you. I've got you." We didn't make love that night. We just held each other, bodies pressed together beneath the sheets, hearts beating too loud. In the dark, I whispered, "I'm scared I'm going to lose everything." Then we lose it together. And after? Then we build something better. Just you and me. I clung to her. She clung back. In the morning, we woke early. She made coffee while I packed my things.
Books.
Sketches. Photos of students' murals. Little pieces of a life I might not be coming back to. She walked me to the door.
Stay here, I said.
Keep your head down. Not a chance. Audrey, let me protect you for once. You already do. She kissed me, slow and certain. Then let me protect us. I left before I could change my mind. 2 days passed. Silence from the school. Janet texted once. People are talking. Be careful. I responded with a single heart emoji. On the 3rd day, a news van showed up. Local station. Small camera crew. Microphone in hand. The kind of story they loved, scandal at a high school. I didn't answer the door. Audrey did. She stood in front of my building like a damn force of nature. She's not available, she said. And if you come near her again, I'll file harassment. Are you confirming the allegations? The reporter asked. No, she said. I'm confirming that you don't know what love looks like when it's inconvenient. They aired that quote. On loop. I got dozens of messages. Some hateful. Most not. And then a letter. From a student. Handwritten. Sloppy spelling. Words underlined in blue. I don't care who you love, Mississippi Lane. You taught me how to see the world in color again. You made me feel like I could make art and be someone. I hope you come back. I cried for an hour. Then I made a decision. I wasn't going to hide. I wasn't going to apologize. And if they wanted to come for me, they were going to get both of us. Because I loved her. I loved her. And no job was worth giving that up. It started with a student-led petition. 120 signatures, handwritten in messy lines and pencil smudges, taped to the school's front office door. Bring Mississippi Lane back. No slogans. No hashtags. Just names. First names, last names, half-legible doodles. I didn't find out until Janet called me, her voice breathless and thrilled. They're not even scared of getting in trouble, she said. They're furious. They're organizing. The kids are talking about a sit-in. A sit-in? In the cafeteria. Tomorrow morning. No one's eating. No one's moving. They're doing it for you. That's insane. It's beautiful, she said. And you should see her. Her.
Audrey.
She's on fire. She hasn't said a word publicly, but the way she walks through the building, she's daring them to come for her. I didn't cry, but I came close. The truth was I didn't know what to do. I'd been in limbo for days, suspended but not fired, accused but not condemned. Audrey and I hadn't seen each other since the news crew incident. We texted constantly, but something unspoken hovered between us. Fear, maybe, or anticipation. The kind of silence you keep before the avalanche hits. That night, she called. Not a text, not a voice note, an actual call. Come to the school tomorrow, she said. Audrey, just come. What are you planning? I'm tired of hiding. They'll punish you. Then let them. Are you sure? Yes. Why now? Because I don't want to be brave after it's too late. I want to be brave while you're still watching. I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed for hours, staring at the ceiling, my heart pounding in my throat. In the morning, I got dressed slowly. Not in jeans. Not in something forgettable. I wore red. The blazer I'd worn the first night I kissed her. I didn't care. Who noticed? I walked into the school and the air changed immediately. Conversations stopped. Heads turned. I kept walking. I found her in the main hallway. She was already waiting. Black slacks. Dark blouse. Eyes sharp. Hands steady. She didn't say a word, just reached for my hand in front of everyone. I took it. Gasps followed. Someone dropped a binder. A few kids exchanged wide-eyed glances, but no one spoke. Then the principal stepped out of his office. His face froze. Miss Blake. Mississippi Lane. My office. Now. We followed him in silence. The door shut behind us. Evelyn Moore was there again. Clipboard in hand. This time, her smile was gone. Do you know what you're doing? She asked. Audrey nodded. I do. You're making it worse. For who? For you. For her. Then it's my decision. The principal sat forward, steepling his fingers. Are you officially confirming the nature of your relationship? Audrey looked at me. I gave the smallest nod. She turned back. Yes. Then you understand the consequences. I understand you've already decided, she said. You've been trying to corner us into confession. Now you have it. So what happens next? Evelyn glanced at the principal. He sighed. We'll take it to the board. And in the meantime, you're both on leave. Paid. Pending review. Expected. Audrey stood. I stood with her. One more thing, she said, turning toward them. If you think the students will forgive you for what you're doing to her, you're underestimating them. You're underestimating me. Miss Blake, no. Don't Miss Blake me. You want to fire a teacher for falling in love with another teacher? Do it. But don't pretend this is about ethics. This is about discomfort. Yours. We left. Word spread fast. Before I even got home, there were emails. Messages from students, from parents, even from a few staff members who hadn't dared speak before. Some were cruel. Most weren't. I hope you're okay. You made me believe I could be gay and still be a good person. Please don't leave us. I sat on my couch with my phone in my lap, reading them all with shaking hands. Then Audrey showed up. She didn't knock. She used the key I gave her last week and let herself in. I stood. She crossed the room and kissed me without a word. When we finally pulled apart, I whispered, Are you okay? Not even a little. Me neither. But I'd do it again. I know. We curled into each other on the couch. Limbs tangled. Skin warm. The silence between us different now. Not fear. Not tension. Just weightless truth. You said you didn't believe in forever, I said. I don't. And yet, you made me want it. Audrey. Don't say my name like that, she whispered. Say it like you did the first night. Like this? I leaned in, murmured it against her neck. Audrey. She moaned, pulled me closer. We didn't make love that night. We claimed each other. Every kiss a vow. Every gasp a promise. I told her I loved her between breaths. She said it back between moans. The next morning, the news broke. A photo. The hallway. Her hand in mine. A leaked story from an anonymous source confirming the relationship between two female staff members. But the narrative didn't spin against us. Not this time. Students started speaking up. Posting videos. Sharing stories. Defending us. One went viral. A kid with rainbow pins on his jacket. They saved me, he said into the camera. They gave me hope. I didn't think I could be both queer and respected until I saw the way they looked at each other. Please don't take that away from us. The district board called an emergency meeting. We were asked to attend. This time, we didn't go alone. The boardroom was colder than I expected. Not physically, but in the way the walls seemed to press inward, in the polished wood that reflected every anxious glance, in the stiff chairs arranged like a courtroom. Audrey sat beside me, her fingers linked through mine beneath the table. She looked calm.
Composed. Deadly.
I wasn't. My palms were sweating. My heart ached in my chest like it was waiting for a verdict we hadn't even heard yet. The superintendent cleared her throat. We're here to address recent allegations regarding inappropriate conduct between two faculty members, Mississippi Harper Lane and Miss Audrey Blake. Audrey squeezed my hand. I squeezed back. This meeting will determine whether a formal disciplinary process is necessary, the superintendent continued. Both parties have been invited to speak.
We stood when asked.
Spoke when spoken to. Gave calm, measured responses. Yes, we had developed a relationship. No, it had not interfered with our duties. Yes, we understood the implications. No, we had not broken policy. At least none that were clearly outlined. Then came the questions. A male board member leaned forward, squinting like he was reading us instead of listening. How long has this relationship been ongoing? A few months, Audrey answered. Did you conceal it intentionally? We didn't announce it, if that's what you mean. But we also didn't exploit it. We kept our work and personal lives separate. Can you see how this may reflect poorly on the school?
I spoke then.
What reflects poorly is the assumption that two women loving each other is scandalous. That's not the concern. Then what is? Audrey said sharply. The fact that we didn't ask permission to feel something real? It's a question of professionalism. We were professional, she snapped, until we realized we were in love. And yes, we tried to bury it. Tried to be silent. But what do you do when the thing you're silencing is the only part of you that feels alive? Silence. Then, from the back of the room, a movement. The door opened. A cluster of students entered.
Teachers, too.
Janet was among them, arms folded, eyes blazing. The board tried to protest. This isn't open to the public. You made it public, Janet said, loud and clear. You let it leak. You let them twist it. You let them be humiliated in whispers and emails while you hid behind closed doors. This is a professional hearing, the superintendent warned. And we are professionals, Janet replied. But we are also witnesses.
Colleagues. Friends.
And we've watched this school ask for miracles from two women who have already given everything they had. A student stepped forward. It was the boy from the viral video. Rainbow pins still on his jacket. They made me feel safe, he said, voice trembling but strong. They never crossed a line, but they reminded me I could have a future. That being different didn't mean being alone. Another girl joined him. Mississippi Lane helped me survive sophomore year. Miss Blake challenged me to be better. They didn't just teach, they cared. More followed. More voices. One after another.
Standing.
Speaking. Breaking the room open. Audrey leaned toward me. Whispered. They came. Of course they did. I murmured. You taught them how. The superintendent called for silence. Faces flushed.
Tension thick.
This is highly irregular, she said. But it's clear that we cannot ignore the overwhelming support. Then what happens now?
I asked. We vote, she said.
And you'll have our answer by tomorrow. We left the building in a storm of nerves. Cameras still hovered near the parking lot. Microphones extended. But this time, Audrey didn't flinch. She laced her fingers through mine and kissed me on the sidewalk. It wasn't planned. It wasn't small. It was the kind of kiss that silences everything. The kind that plants a flag. That night, we stayed at her place. We barely spoke. We didn't need to. We stripped off our clothes like armor and curled into bed like survivors. Her hands found my skin. My lips found her scars. We made love like the world might take us apart in the morning. When I came, it wasn't quiet. It was a cry, a breaking, a plea. She held me through it, told me I was hers, that nothing would change that. What if they fire us? I whispered in the dark. Then we walk away, she said.
Together.
And if they don't, then we keep walking, hand in hand, head high. I fell asleep with my face buried in her chest, heart full of terror and something that felt dangerously close to peace. In the morning, we didn't speak as we checked our phones. Just stared at the screen. One email. Same subject line for both of us. Board decision, staff review outcome. Audrey opened hers first. Her eyes widened. She looked at me. They're reinstating us. You're joking.
No.
They reviewed everything. Emails, attendance, conduct. They can't prove policy violation. I open mine. Same message. No disciplinary action will be taken. We expect professionalism moving forward. I laughed.
Loud. Wild.
I tackled her onto the bed and kissed her like I was drowning. We did it. No, she said, kissing me back. You did. I just followed your light. Don't make me cry. Too late. We stayed in bed too long. Got dressed too slow. Returned to school with our heads up, our hands steady. The same halls. The same rooms. But everything was different. People looked. People whispered. But we didn't care. Because we were still standing. Still together. Still in love. And no policy in the world could stop that. It felt like everything should have been perfect. We were back. We were walking through the halls without ducking into shadows, without whispering, without brushing fingers, only when no one was watching. We were in the open now. No secrets. No shame. No more living in that dangerous space between almost and forbidden. But freedom comes with a weight too. And I felt it settle over us like dust. We weren't being hunted anymore, but we were being watched. Every word, every glance, every hallway pause, measured, cataloged, picked apart. Students looked at us differently. Some with admiration. Some with quiet judgment. Some with a discomfort they didn't bother to hide. The teachers were worse. Janet was our champion, obviously. But others weren't so gracious. The science department barely made eye contact anymore. 2 of the assistant coaches started eating in their office instead of a lounge. And the principal, who had once given me free rein to decorate every inch of the building with student art, now asked me to clear major design changes with administration moving forward. We weren't in trouble, but we weren't safe either. And the pressure of that started to crack us open in places I didn't expect. The first time we fought, it wasn't about anything important. Or maybe it was. I was sketching a new mural after school. Something big, bold. A riot of color and expression right outside the front entrance. Audrey walked by and paused. You didn't run this by the office, did you? No. You know they'll use it against you. It's just paint. It's not.
Not now.
Not after everything. I'm not going to stop creating just because they're scared of me. I'm not asking you to stop, she said, but her tone was brittle. Then what are you asking? To think. To pause. To strategize. So now I need to be careful again? No, Harper. You just don't want me to be loud, messy, complicated. You want me neat and quiet so they don't have a new reason to hate us. That's not fair. Neither is being told to shrink myself after we fought so damn hard to be seen. She didn't respond. She just left. Didn't kiss me goodbye. Didn't look back. And I stood there staring at my sketch like it had betrayed me. That night, we didn't text. She didn't come over. I didn't sleep. The next day, she didn't say good morning. She passed me in the hall and nodded, polite, distant. The kind of nod you give a stranger. It made my stomach twist. I lasted until lunch. Then I found her in her classroom, alone, grading papers with mechanical precision.
Audrey.
She didn't look up. I don't want to fight with you. Then don't. That's not how it works. You always want things loud, she said softly. You want fire. You want color and defiance and beauty. And I love that. God, I love that. But I was raised to survive by being invisible. I learned that silence meant safety. And I'm trying to unlearn it, but I can't always do it at your speed. I stepped closer. You think I want to shine without you? She looked at me finally.
No.
But I think sometimes you forget that we're still different. That love doesn't erase the past. Or the fear. I'm scared too. You don't show it. Because I'm too scared to show it. Then we're just two women terrified in different directions. That broke me. I crossed the room.
Took her hand.
Then let's be terrified together. I don't want to lose you. You won't. You might get tired of Soft. And you might get tired of Storm. I could never. Then say you'll come over tonight. Only if you let me finish my grading first.
Deal.
She kissed me like she was afraid it might be the last time. That night, we made love slow. Not to prove anything. Not to forget. Just to remember that this, us, was the thing that mattered. After, I lay with my head on her chest and listened to her heartbeat. We're going to be okay, I said. I want to believe you. Then let me remind you every day until you do. You're exhausting, she whispered. You love that about me. Unfortunately, still afraid. Always. Still mine. Always. We fell asleep like that, naked and tangled and human. No secrets. No performance. Just breath and skin and hope. The next day, I finished the mural anyway. And when I stepped back, covered in paint and pride, I saw her watching from the entrance steps. She walked over, wrapped her arms around me from behind, rested her chin on my shoulder. You were right, she said. It's beautiful. You still want to strategize? Always. But sometimes strategy means knowing when to let someone you love take the risk. You love me? God help me, yes. Then stand here with me. I already am.
Cameras came.
Students posed in front of the wall. Someone from the local paper asked for a quote. I gave them one. We fought to be allowed to exist. So now we're going to live. Audrey laughed beside me. I kissed her in front of everyone. It started with a letter. Not scandalous. Not anonymous. Just a neatly addressed envelope left on Audrey's desk after school, one she didn't notice until she was already halfway home. She called me that evening, her voice flat. I got an offer, she said. From where? Boston. A private academy.
High salary.
Smaller classes. Tenure track. My stomach tightened. Did you apply?
No.
Someone recommended me. And I don't know.
Silence.
Not the kind that hurt. Not yet. But the kind that warned you it could. Do you want it? I asked. I don't know, she said again. That place ruined you. I said quietly. It made you small. It made me quiet, she corrected. Which isn't the same thing. And this is a different school. Different city. Different everything. And me. You would stay here. Right. Harper, don't. This doesn't mean I'm leaving. But you're thinking about it. Wouldn't you? I didn't answer. She came over that night and we didn't touch. We sat on the couch, 2 feet apart, hearts pressed against opposite walls. I don't want to lose you, she said. Then don't. But I don't know who I am when I'm not fighting for you. That's the point, Audrey. We're allowed to want more than just survival. More than defiance. We're allowed to dream. But what if our dreams don't match? Then we find new ones. Together. Her eyes burned. You make it sound easy. It's not. But love never was. I don't want to be the reason you stay small. And I don't want to be the reason you run. Then what are we? 2 women in love, scared to want the world and each other at the same time. She looked at me like she was memorizing my face. Say you'll follow me. To Boston. To anywhere. Audrey, I'm not asking you to uproot your life. Then what are you asking? To believe that I'll come back if I go. And what if you don't? Then you'll know I wasn't strong enough. That broke me. I reached for her, kissed her hard. You're already stronger than you think, I said. But if you go, you don't go alone. We figure it out. Long distance. Trial period. Visits every weekend. Daily phone calls. Letters. You love letters. God, I do. Then write me. Will you write back? Every damn day. Even if you're mad? Especially then. She kissed me like she was already missing me. The offer gave her 2 weeks. We didn't waste them. We made love in every room of my apartment. Cooked together. Read side by side. We watched terrible movies and stayed up talking until dawn. I memorized her hands. She traced every line of my body like she was afraid I might vanish. I went with her to her interview, waited outside, held her hand before and after. She didn't ask me to pretend. She didn't hide, and neither did I. The offer became official. She had 1 more week to decide. I didn't ask until the very last day. We were lying on the roof of her building, staring at the stars, a bottle of wine between us. Are you going? I asked. She didn't answer right away. Then she sat up.
Turn to me.
Yes, she said. I think I have to. My chest cracked, but I nodded. Okay, but not forever. I looked at her. What do you mean? 1 year. That's what they're offering. 1 year, full salary, with the option to renew. I want to go, but I want you more. So I'll go for a year, and then I'll come back. If you'll still have me. I sat up,
Pulled her in.
There is no version of this where I don't want you. But if you come back, you're not coming back to who we were. You're coming back to us, whatever we've grown into. I want that. Then go. Be brilliant. Be loud.
Be you.
And you. I'll be right here. Painting walls. Making noise. Loving you. She cried into my shoulder. I held her through it. That night, we didn't sleep. We said goodbye with bodies, with mouths, with quiet I love yous whispered into each other's skin. In the morning, she left before sunrise. A single bag, a single note. This isn't the end. It's the space between beats. Wait for me. I waited. 1 year is a long time. Long enough to miss someone so deeply it hurts. Long enough to fear they'll forget how your skin felt under their hands. Long enough to wake up some mornings and wonder if the version of love you believed in was just a story you told yourself so the silence wouldn't crush you. But it's also long enough to prove something. That love doesn't die in absence. It just changes shape. She left in late September. I stayed. I taught my classes, painted new murals, mentored seniors who cried over college essays and first heartbreaks. I had quiet dinners with Janet. I wrote letters I never sent when the loneliness got too loud. And I waited. She kept her promise. A phone call every night. A letter every week. Typed sometimes, but mostly handwritten, her script elegant and sharp, each word unfolding like a thread that tied me to her even when I wanted to come undone. She sent photos of bookstores, coffee shops, rain-soaked sidewalks. She sent sketches of strangers she saw on the train. She told me about the student who reminded her of me, messy, brilliant, impulsive, and how she bit her tongue every time she wanted to say my name in the classroom. We talked about everything. What we missed. What we learned. What we feared. We never said goodbye. Not once. Winter came. I got the flu. She sent me soup by mail and FaceTimed me in bed while reading a book out loud until I passed out. Spring came. She told me Boston was beautiful in bloom, but nothing smelled like my skin. I printed the email and tucked it in my drawer. June came. School ended. I stood in my classroom on the last day, staring at the door she used to walk past at 8:15 every morning with her too tight bun and guarded smile. I closed my eyes and whispered, "Come back."
July.
She wrote less. I understood. It was the end of her contract. The school wanted her to stay. They'd offered more money. A full department lead. Permanent tenure. Her dream job. I didn't ask what she would choose. I just told her I loved her and meant it even if she never came home. August 14th. The day before teachers returned for the new school year. I stayed late, cleaning, prepping, trying to ignore the way the building echoed without her. I didn't notice the door open. Didn't hear footsteps. But I felt her. Before I saw her, before she spoke, I felt her. And when I turned, she was there. In the doorway. Same eyes. Same mouth. Same woman. But something had shifted. She wasn't polished. She wasn't distant. She was soft, unguarded,
Whole.
"You came back," I whispered.
Of course I did, she said.
I crossed the room. She didn't wait. She kissed me like she had something to prove and something to remember all at once. Her arms wrapped around me like they never let go. I almost didn't, she admitted against my lips. Why? Because I didn't want to make the wrong choice. And then I realized there was only ever one right one. Me, you, us,
This.
I kissed her again. She kissed me back.
We sat on my desk.
Her head on my shoulder, her hand on my knee, the door still open. We didn't care. What now?
I asked. We start over, she said.
Not from the beginning, from the middle, from the part where we know who we are and still choose each other. What about your job? I turned it down. And here, interview tomorrow. Principal said she's always liked me. She's terrified of you. Even better. You're really staying? I'm already here. We went home together. Fell into bed like it had only been a day. Touched each other like we were stitching old wounds closed. I cried when I came.
She didn't let go.
In the morning, we made breakfast. She wore my t-shirt. I burned the toast. She laughed for the first time in weeks. We took the long way to school, held hands the whole drive. And when we walked through the doors again, this time side by side, no secrets, no shadows, it didn't feel like returning. It felt like arriving. My students cheered when they saw me. Her students stood straighter when they saw her. The hallway felt alive again. Janet smirked from the office window and mouthed, "Told you." I flipped her off. Audrey kissed my cheek. "What if they start talking again?" she asked. "Then let them. And if we get in trouble again, we'll lie better this time. And if they ask if I love you, tell them the truth. Which is that I never stopped." We went back to our classrooms, back to the rhythm. But nothing was the same. We weren't hiding anymore. We weren't apologizing. We were loving, openly, defiantly, like women who'd earned the right to stay exactly where they were and exactly who they were with each other. That night, I came home to find another letter on my pillow. Her handwriting. No envelope. Just one line. "Forever isn't safe, but I'm choosing it anyway." I smiled and wrote back, "Me too. Thank you so much for your support, whether it's by liking, commenting, sharing, or sending your super thanks. You make all the difference here on the channel. See you in the next video.